Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, consider throwing a subscription. Today's video is going to be a review of a game called Aborigenus. This was previously on Steam. It is now coming to the Nintendo Switch January 10th. It's a retro-styled action platformer that has some RPG elements on it, and I thought, you know what? This looks pretty neat. Let's go ahead and talk about it on the channel. So let's, without any further ado, begin the video. So the story of Aborigenus is about a warrior who's part of a tribe that has just recently been invaded by a whole bunch of other enemy warriors that are trying to enslave the women and the children, the dogs, cats, mass hysteria. Your tribe sent other warriors to go and rescue them, but guess what? Nobody's come back, and now you are the last hope for your entire tribe. Simple enough story, classic, go and rescue your fellow members, your friends, your family, your girlfriend. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. The story, in fact, really has no bearing to the game at all. This is a really small RPG game that just kind of shows you stuff with the story initially, just to kind of set a premise. But other than that, there's no real narrative or anything in the actual core gameplay. This is actually a real old school style type of video game where there's not much dialogue or story progression or anything at all. In fact, the game is actually really short. I actually beat the game in about a half hour. So it surprised me with quite how small it actually was. And, that's it. Story really doesn't have any major bearing on it. In fact, I really didn't even pay attention to it. I skimmed through it because you didn't really need to know much except that you have to go rescue your fellow tribesmen. So that's it. Now the graphics of Aborigenus are what I like to call retro Neo. That's basically a game that is made in the modern generation, but looks like it's something that might have been made in a previous generation. This one kind of has a 16-bit 8-bit kind of hybrid aesthetic that a lot of indie games nowadays have. In fact, if you look on Steam or the eShop or the PSN store or Xbox, a lot of indie games have graphics that are similar to this. You think of all of them, you got your Shovel Knights, you got your Shakedown Hawaii's, you have your Revenge of the Bird Kings, you have your Sydney Hunters, you have all these games that have this 8-bit, 16-bit, neo-retro type of gameplay style. And this one is actually another one to add to the list. Me, as a retro gamer, I personally do enjoy these type of neo-retro video games. So I did like some of the detail that is involved with the games. The enemies that were in this game, kind of not that creative. You have chickens and flying birds and other tribesmen that try to kill you and monsters and stuff like that. Everything kind of looked minimalistic with its presentation, including the main character, the warrior that you control in this game. So there was a small amount of detail that was just enough, kind of that artistic, minimalistic style that I guess works with a type of neo-retro game, because let's be honest, NES games in the past didn't really have much in way of detail. So you can't expect something that looks like full HD and stuff. You got to remember, this was an indie game, so it is what it is. And again, it's a really small indie game, so this was probably made by a handful of developers, even probably less than 5 if you look at it. So the game does actually look and feel like a smaller indie title. It's alright. It does the job for what it is. The attacks and stuff actually look kind of cool. Some of the spells and projectiles that you're able to use eventually in the game are animated rather nicely. But I would have liked the sprites of the enemies and the main characters to be at least a little bit bigger. They are rather small on the screen. Now the sound kind of leaves a little to be desired. The first level kind of has an okay melody that kind of, it's I don't know, I wish it was a little bit more heroic. It's kind of generic sounding. The second level, the same thing. It's kind of like a nighttime ambience type of thing, but I would have liked a little bit more in an adventurous type of soundtrack, something that pumps you up from the beginning and gets you really going. For example, I go back to Shovel Knight. That game has an amazing soundtrack, but I guess it's all in how much the developers have in regards to their budget. Were they able to actually make a decent soundtrack or get the rights to license some royalty-free tracks or anything like that? It doesn't seem like they did anything out of the ordinary to really distinguish this game as anything beyond just a smaller budget title. So the OST is kind of small. They didn't really have it, anything really too special or remarkable. It was just kind of there, a little too generic. So the sound not so great if I was to actually judge it at all, but that didn't really hinder the gameplay experience at all when it comes to Aborigenus. The gameplay of Aborigenus, again, plays like an old school retro platformer. You jump from platform to platform, you avoid obstacles, pitfalls. Once in a while you come across enemies that you're able to actually attack. Now initially you just have a basic melee attack and a jump. But as you kill enemies, you gain experience. You gain like 300 experience points, 200 experience points that go towards being able to do new attacks and different types of features and stuff that add to the game, which was actually kind of neat. You're able to gain experience levels, upgrade projectile attacks, upgrade a shield attack, gain stronger abilities to break down walls. It all looks actually pretty cool and fleshed out here. For a smaller indie title, I was actually like, you know what, this looks cool. You can actually build and upgrade your character to the way that you want, but there was one caveat to here. Again, this game took me 30 minutes to beat. There's actually only like 3 levels. Yeah, 3 levels of this game, so it kind of defeats the purpose of grinding to level up your character, unless you're gonna stick around on the first stage and just defeat respawning enemies over and over and over to get all of your abilities maxed out all at once on stage 1, so you could kind of use them on stage 2 and 3. I don't know. It kind of negates the purpose, in my opinion. There was no real reason to have these RPG elements of being able to get new powers, upgrade them, and use them to your advantage, because the game is so short. It's like they had potential here. They had the potential to make something, to make a platforming game that was, you know, just like other indie games out there, like again, like a Shovel Knight, a Hollow Knight, things like that. And it seems kind of like this was almost like a school project, to where it had generic platforming elements to it. You know, it had the character going through the stages, gaining power-ups, getting experience, rescuing people, the plot, the graphics and everything, but it just fell short of what I think it should have been. This game definitely had a lot of potential because it plays good, it looks alright, and you know, it's something fun to pick up and play, but it just kind of missed the mark. It just didn't do enough for me. The gameplay itself, the core gameplay was good, but it's just sad that it's kind of held down by how small the game is, if that makes any sense. So this goes into the replay value for Aborigenus. The replay value is actually small because of it only being a half hour long. Once you complete the game, there's actually nothing for you to go back and do. There's no unlockables, there's no extra stages, there's no side quests, there's no hidden collectibles. You know, it would have been cool if there was like hidden coins or any kind of thing that you can find to collect and to kind of like do a 100% completion run. You know, maybe different modes. It didn't seem like there was much in way of different modes, unlockables, or anything. It was just a 3-level game that you could breeze through in a half hour and never pick it up and play again, which is sad. Because again, I did see some potential in this game. Looking at the screenshots in the eShop is what actually made me want to actually cover this game. So I reached out to the developer, got the code, played it, and was like, wow, that's it? Like literally as soon as I finished playing the final boss in the 3rd stage, I was like, wow, that's it. The game's done. So the replay value of Aborigenus is actually quite small, unfortunately. So my overall opinion, Aborigenus is a small retro platforming game that it does its job. It is good for what it is. But if you're looking for something a little bit more in-depth, something a little bit more robust, something with a lot of replay value, maybe achievements, collectibles, hidden levels, co-op, there's plenty of indie games out there on the Nintendo Switch or Steam that are actually much more better than Aborigenus, which is sad. I feel that this game had the potential, if it was bigger, to be something better. But I don't know. If it's on sale for really cheap in the Switch eShop, maybe like for less than $5, it might be worth playing through for one time. But at its current state, for what it is, it's probably cheaper to get it on Steam than playing it in the eShop. So I don't recommend checking it out right now. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Again, if you were brand new, feel free to throw that subscription. And don't forget to click that like button on the way out, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Peace out. Consider supporting 8-Bit Eric on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. You want to become part of the hashtag 8BE Nation, guys? Well, be sure to pick up your official merch, now available online. Link is below in the description. We got classic t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and even women's apparel. Don't forget, pick up your official merch now. And while you're at it, guys, feel free to watch the next video, or why don't you catch up on one that you might have previously missed. Thanks again, guys, for all the support. I couldn't do this without you. You guys are amazing, and don't forget to subscribe and click that like button if you are brand new. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.